in the test documentation to quiz. And again, each and every question out of that quiz might be your midterm question, final test question, internship interview question, job interview question. All the questions here are coming from real life. So there is nothing artificial here. Write test cases for testing required zip code field. Good. To expedite what we are doing, let's look first at the multiple choice things. Something like that. What are the most common components of the test case format? Most common components. The question by itself, I'm just starting with the question. The question could be done as what you do at the time of planning, what you do at the time of execution, because there is a difference. At the time of execution, you need actual result and pass-fail. That one doesn't point to any specific stage. It says whatever test case format. So it means all the fields from both stages. So what are the most common components? Steps to reproduce. So fortunately, we have just 10%. There are no steps to reproduce in test case. Okay. Steps to reproduce come from where?
Bug report.
Bug report, yes. So test matrices, it's a separate document which combines effect of different things impacting the tests. Requirements. Requirement is not a part of test case, guys. Some idea of requirement is present because test case is about testing specific requirement. But the requirement there is no column for requirement. We have actually two columns. One column says purpose or description, and description deals with requirements. But for one requirement, we might have many test cases dealing with the exact same requirement. For example, if it says the zip code field accepts 5 and only 5 digits, for example, how many test cases do we need here? Well, characters, not digits. Forget about which character? 5. Then you have to do 5, you have to do 4, and you have to do 6. Now, guys, you have 3 requirements. Really. 3 test cases. Okay, requirement is 1, but we have 3 test cases to test that boundary. So when we say a requirement is a part of test case, it is not exactly like that. You might need multiple test cases for same requirement. So you have the idea of what you test, and then you have exact steps, or we prefer the word instruction. Yeah, we are saying instruction. Yeah, it says still step for bringing the application from default base state means you just run the application from that state to the place where you verify the results of fail to passed. So requirement is not specifically the part of the format. Requirement information is clear there. It is very clear. Because you are saying what you do, and you are saying what you expect. So definitely requirement is very clear. But it's not like requirement is a column, is a part of format. Okay. Use case. So use case is a requirement by itself, format for requirement. Okay, ID. I'm not sure why some people think there is no ID there. But ID is a part of each and every test case. Same as bug report. And actual result, good, because it is not limited to planning stage, whatever stage. So actual result, guys, why just 57%? What are you talking about? The whole thing about test case is you run it and you find out what happened. Actual result is must. Expected result, yeah, we just put expected result and who cares, you know? No, not really, guys. I mean, why we have such a difference here? Actual and expected, both are 100%. There is no need in test case if it doesn't have expected result. There is no, because you don't know how to say failed or passed. There is no need in test case if we don't know what actually happened, because without that we cannot say failed or passed. We compare actual and expected. Both are must. Purpose, okay, not requirement, but purpose or description or title, yes, must. That is must. Steps, and even steps. Guys, you have, I'm kind of surprised. We did so many test cases with you. And you are not even clear on things like instruction or purpose. And even ID is not what you really believe in. So that one is, I would say, much below of what I would expect at that stage. Format and style for developing test cases. Format, the field, and style. Style, for example, I know one company, they would put one test case on separate page. And the fields go vertically. Let's say purpose, okay, instruction. It just goes that way. Not from left to right, it goes from top to bottom. And it might be just 3, 4, 5 lines on a page, but it's okay, that is how they do it. I've seen that. So when it says format and style, the same format and style are used by all the companies. Just one person believes that. Let me refresh, because we might have more people participating. So yeah, it says 22 here. Okay, same everywhere, no. 3, 4 major formats and styles are used by most of the companies. I think it is true. But we have no way to judge. I mean, zero justification for that. And there is no place where you can go and find 3, 4 major formats so you can choose one. It just doesn't exist. So, I mean, I understand why you are saying, yeah, it is not like 200 of different formats. It's very limited, but defined by each and every company individually, yes, there is one exception here. If that company is working with government-based kind of requirements and procedures, let's say they are working under Food and Drug Administration or Department of Defense, then government comes with certain definitions and rules and formats, and they will follow. If you think about why military is expensive, why pharmaceuticals are expensive, guys, they have to produce so much of paperwork, they have to go through so many stages of approval, it becomes much more expensive because of government control imposed on them. So defined by each and every company individually, with exception of those who are controlled by certain regulations. Yes, defined by each and every QA team individually. Why not, guys? I mean, why you believe company can do it, but QA team cannot do it? Absolutely. I was a QA manager, guys. And as a manager, I did have 2 products under me. One product was personal organizer. Things to do, schedules, appointments, different things, expenses, travel expenses. Another application was actually a group of products. It was mice and trackballs. You understand how different they are. So trackballs and mice, all the software, I mean, substantial part of the software is in the chip, which is in there, in the device. There is a device with a chip. And there is some software you install on computer, drivers and this and that, but you cannot do that chip once a week, you know? If you change anything in a chip, you cannot make it once a week. It is a very expensive process of doing that. So what I'm saying, 2 different worlds. And when it comes to devices like that, most of the problems are coming from customers, because we are not capable of creating all the possible configurations of software and hardware people have, you know, all over the world. So most of the problems would be reported by customers. Then we are trying to reproduce them in the lab we have, and then we put that into future testing later on. But Organizer is a very common software application. At the time we did that, on the market, I counted 22 or 23 competitors. Everybody was doing organizers. It was in 95 or so. So what I'm saying, in exact same company, in exact same QA team, for two projects, different projects, we had two different bug tracking systems. I mean, formats. It was one application, but pretty much separated. And we did have two types of test cases. I mean, totally different. Is it clear? Why? The nature of the product is such that it requires certain differences to be taken care of. So QA team, yes. Testing project, absolutely. If the project has certain specifics, we have to respond to those specifics. Otherwise, what are we doing here? We'll develop the product first and then format and style for test cases. Nobody supports that. I just want you to understand what might happen. What actually happens a lot. They might release the product, but company is struggling for survival. And they just need to come to the point where investors give them another tranche of money. And then eventually, when they become more established, when they are not that much in a rush, they say, guys, let's do test cases after the release, for the future release. We didn't have test cases, but you know what? For the future, let's do it now. So we do have it in the future. So we become more mature as a company, as a QA department, and so on. So sometimes it happens, but it is not what we consider to do test cases after the release. Still, we do it before the release because we do it for the future release. Is it clear? Good. Business requirement document defines the format and style for test cases. No way. It defines how users will use the application from business standpoint. Same format and style as used in use cases. Use cases are requirements. And when they develop use cases, write use cases, they are trying to provide information to be used for requirements and specifications and for development. They mean nothing in terms of future testing or future test cases. It is not, future testing is not the consideration when they do requirements. Whatever the requirements, so we're going to have some testing, more or less, or later or sooner. Okay. Keep going. Anything else? Yes, we have a few more. What is the difference between test design and test plan? We have pretty much everybody here. Test design is about test coverage. Yes, I gave you that image of tree with leaves. So brown, which is wood, and green, which is leaves. So brown, the wood, is the test design, and leaves are test cases. So test design should bring you to the test cases. That is the purpose of test design. We should have the structure. If there is a missing branch on that tree, guys, then we are in trouble. Because certain part of functionality is not going to be tested at all, and that specific part, not tested at all, will determine the overall, might determine the overall quality of the entire product when it comes to people using it. Is it clear? Okay, it's a very simple concept. Test plan is about strategy, scope, focus, schedule, resources. It's a big, high-level document. Test design is also higher level document. It's not like test case, you know. It is design level document. But it could be considered a part of your test plan, for example. Could be chapter. Not test cases. Test cases are too small. Okay. Good. That one is good. Okay. Here we have lots of opinions. Let's see. Describe test scenario. So half of you are on the right track. There is nothing to be described. It's a human language term. It's not a professional technical term. It doesn't have defined meaning, which means we might use it sometimes with whatever meaning we put into that. Normally, when people say scenario, they mean something like multi-step, combination of things. but other people might have different meaning. So it is a slang term to be avoided. We cannot avoid it 100%. We still use it somehow, but it's not a professional term. Then we have analysis of how customers will react on software problem. We have different group of test cases. A group of test cases is called test suite. Yes. Group of test suites is called test suite. Okay. End-to-end test. End-to-end test is a kind of use case given to tester. So tester tests along the guidelines of the use case, trying to resolve, trying to see if user is able to do certain business task. So it's a system level test. We don't care about specific functionality involved. It's just a big system level test. Some people might say test scenario and mean end-to-end test. They might mean it. We don't know. But it's not like, oh, if they say test scenario, then it's end-to-end test. It might be test suite. Yeah? We don't know. Good. What are other terms we are trying to avoid? So test scenario is one. I told you. Check. To check. We do not check. We test, verify, validate, but we do not check anything. And one more. Test script. When people say test script, some of them talk about automated tests. Some of them talk about same as a scenario. To them, script is like scenario. We don't know, really. We are trying not to use it. We might say automated test script developed in whatever, WebDriver or Selenium. But we cannot say just test script. What is that? I don't know. OK. Next. How many test cases we need to test list box with 15 items? So we have multiple opinions here. So the most massive one is just one, which is the right answer. And then we have 50. So we have to try each and every item under the list. 20%. 1 for class. Guys, if you look at list box, maybe you don't know what's list box. I don't know why you would do that, but let's do it. So, for example, let's go to Notepad, and I go to, let's say, font. Okay. So the question is, I can set the font to be Arial, or whatever. I mean, we have many fonts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Guys, no, 100. The question is, should I try all of them, or should I just try one? To make sure it picks up the right value. Picks up the right value. And then the rule says if list box is processed properly, and it picks up book Antiqua, correctly, it will pick up any other one correctly. It might not show up if it is not installed or other things might be involved in that font not working. But if it comes to list box, and that is list box, okay? If it comes to list box, it is just one out of class. They are all of same class. They belong to the same class. Okay? Let's say you have web form and it says state, and you have California, Arizona, Florida. So should we try all 50 states, or it's enough to try one and see if it is processed properly? That is the answer. And there is no boundaries there. I mean, there is no boundaries whatsoever. It's a list. You cannot choose anything, before the first item. You cannot choose anything after the last item. There's no boundaries there, guys. It is absolutely irrelevant. 20% we have here. No more than 3. What is that? Where does it come from? List box should not be tested since its functionality is provided by the GUI vendor. That is true. List box by itself is not to be tested. You look at list box, you do not ask, is it really working as a list box? No, it's not the question. It is coming from somewhere. It's not like our developers created that list box. No. The question is, if I choose something in that list box and then I push that submit button, what's going to happen to the value in that list box? Okay? So that is what you test. The statement by itself is true. It's a true statement, but it's not what we were trying to test. Negative testing only. Nobody buys into that. So guys, I would say you could do better with that one, really. So no open-ended questions. So let's start with number 1. We are looking at zip code field. And so our philosophy here is, if you come with test cases, you would rather come with requirements first. So you demonstrate that your test cases are matching the requirements. And that is the kind of stressless, way to do things. Otherwise, you might run into conflicts with requirements which people have in their mind. You don't want that. You have to define them. So then you are responsible not for they have in their mind. You are responsible only for covering requirements which you bring together. So what do we have here? What are requirements? So we ask them. They say, it's not exactly how we ask them. We ask them, do you have any specific requirements, or you want me to come with requirements? They say, yeah, please, do it. Then, as you understand, positive. What do you mean positive if you do not have requirements here? What's positive with no requirements? Positive, length, 5 digits only. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, accepted. Positive, numeric only. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, accepted. 2 times, same thing. That test case already covered both. And it's not how we do it, actually. Accepted negative length, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Not accepted negative number. Negative number?
Numeric.
What do you mean negative number? Starts with minus? But minus sign is a special character. It shouldn't accept special characters. It's not about negative or positive values. It's just about characters. It's all about characters. It's not about value of zip code. It's a combination of characters to us. Negative. That one has nothing to do with what we teach here. I would say it comes from a very dangerous area, okay? So not to stay in for a long time. Because, if you really want to get internships, jobs, so then you have to become testers. To become testers, you have to, leave that way of thinking to someone else. Requirement. Now we have requirements. So field is required, good. Accepts 5 characters, good. Digits only, good. We intentionally create 2 requirements out of that because we test them separately. We will need 3 test cases for that one. And we will need 3 test cases for that one. Yeah? To test, it accepts digits only. We have to test digits, letters, and special characters. So we need 3 for one and another 3 for another one. We cannot put them in one. Accepts 5 digits. No, wait a second. 5 is one, and digits is another one. We have 2 requirements. Input could be either typed or pasted. Number 5, more than 5 characters will not be accepted by the field. No error message. Good. So we specify the expected result. Yes?
Question. When you write accept 5 characters
Yeah.
only, and then when you write, do you have to write after that more than 5 characters will not be accepted since you already wrote that it can only accept 5?
It is not what it's written here. It says how 6 are going to be processed. Yeah. It says if it is 6, no, okay, no remesh, okay. If it is 6, more than 5, okay, it will accept just 5 with no error message. if it is more than 5. But if it is less than 5, 1 to 4, then there's going to be error message with specific verbiage. That is a requirement. Without that requirement, developer now will not know how to implement that feature. If you say to developer, you know what, we accept just 5, you do not answer the question what happens, how the application should behave if it comes to 6 and more than 5 overall. Doesn't answer the question. So we come with more requirements. So we might come with more test cases. If requirement is not written here, then you speculate. And when you speculate, you run into differences with other people who want you to show if you are good at doing test cases. Okay. And then test cases, positive. Existing 5-digit zip code. Existing means we do not have non-existing results in error message. If you provide 5 digits which are not exactly zip code, existing zip code, it comes with error message. So positive, existing, 5-digit, and this is the example. Specific value you type in. First part is description of the test case or purpose. Then you have instruction, specific zip code. Without specifics here, if you give the test case to 5 people or maybe 25 people, they will come up with 25 different values they type in. Is it clear? So you provide specific value here, so your testing becomes consistent, accepted, non-digit letters, non-digit special characters. Okay. And when we compare to the previous one, when it comes to special characters, we have all digits and 1 special character. When we have come to non-digits, we have all digits and just 1 non-digit. Okay? It's not like you change all 5. Let me go back a little bit, just a second. Yeah. Look at that. Negative special characters, blah, 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 not accepted. They don't have to be all at once. Special characters. Just one. So you are trying to deviate from the correct one as minimum as possible. Just 1 character out of 5. Okay, that is pretty much what we do in our definition. Do you remember where the definitions are? The answers. Yeah. On the forum, on the school forum. Good. So then let's move to another one. How many test cases do we need to test email field? It's a good one. It was your homework. Huh? And guys, really, when we say how many do we need, what we really mean is how you're going to test it. You don't have to, you cannot say 25 test cases. Doesn't mean anything. And I do not want you to provide all the test cases because it's going to be too many. I just want you to show that you understand you have the way of doing that. Okay, let's see. How many test cases? -1. What do you mean? 1 for name portion. What is name in email? What do you mean name? Huh? What do you mean username in email? What do you mean username? There is no username in email. There is domain part. There is mailbox. Or there is another term for mailbox. But there is no name. Make sure no prohibited characters are included. That is test case? Or -1? Or 1 for mail domain portion. Just 1? Hoo-hoo. Check for existing domain extension. 2 for @sign. Guys, that is a disaster. Email format. 1, correct domain. Not case sensitive, maximum of 253 characters. Nobody comes with requirements. Okay. Correct. What do you mean correct local part? What's correct? Huh? What do you mean? What is that? If if you have no requirement, what's valid? See what I mean? The word valid or the word correct has meaning only if you define that. Correct, incorrect. If there is no definition, what's valid? No, doesn't have to be existing. Email format. As many as necessary for the requirements given. Okay, so it starts with requirements. Okay. Letters, digits, characters, good. We just have to do that thing for mailbox and for domain separately, because prohibited characters, or let's say allowed characters, for domain name and for mailbox are different. We have different sets of characters allowed. Email field is required. In case okay, that is a requirement. Required can include letters, digits, special. It cannot include special characters. Special characters are prohibited, with some exceptions. Special characters as a class are prohibited. Digits as a class are allowed, which means any digit will be accepted. Letters as a class are accepted. Any letter will be accepted. Special characters as a class are prohibited. But some special characters represent exceptions. Each exception would require separate test case. One test case for each exception must include it. Yeah, well. Guys, there are two ways of testing email field. One way, stranger comes from the street, okay, and says, I will test it this way. Another way, you are not testers yet, but you are on the way. You already know much more than strangers would know. You cannot come with a stranger answer. You might not know exactly the answer, but you have to approach that in a professional way. See what I mean? You cannot say, oh, now I'm stranger. Why? It's just a question. Nobody told me how to answer it yet. So wait a second. We cannot tell you answers to all the questions you're going to face in your life. You have to learn the profession here. Requirements. So it starts with requirements. Good. All type of letters, digits, and some special characters. Good. So there are some. But I would say my answer would be starting with saying we have three areas to test. We have mailbox part, domain part, and extension part. Extension part is the simplest because there is a list of approved extensions. I'm not sure how long, 22, whatever, 35, doesn't matter. I just go one by one, and I make sure it will be accepted. How do I do that? Let's say Mikhail at portnov.com, .net, .org, .gov, and all of that stuff. So it shouldn't be rejected. And then I come with any combination outside of those. And it should come with error message saying that extension part is not valid. That's it. So if we have 22 approved extensions, I need 23 test cases. 22 positive and 1 negative. That's it. Yeah. Is it clear? So that is one part. The easiest one is extension. So then we have mailbox, and then we have this one. We also have that separator, the @ sign. And we can talk about overall format. So what if I have two @ signs? What if I have no @ sign at all? So then we have 1, 2, 3. We have 3 test cases already. 1, nothing, and more than 2. But then you look at the mailbox part, and you are saying letters, digits, some special characters. So then we need 1 test case for each exception. Then we look at domain part, and we say, okay, letters, digits, special characters, which are exceptions. Okay, we need one test case for letters, 1 for digits, and 1 for each and every exception. That is how you approach that. Guys, it is relatively simple. We have lots of sophistications in there. I did show you in Wikipedia. They have God knows how many things. You don't have to know them right now. But at least you approach that with a reasonable kind of professional level. Okay. Login and password, we did that stuff. Let's see. 22, let me refresh. Maybe we've got more people, no? 23, okay. Okay, login. Okay, 3 or more positive test cases. It doesn't say give me all the test cases for login and password. It says give me 3 positive ones, which is much simpler. Okay. So you don't even have to come with requirements, guys. You don't have to. Because some requirements are so obvious. I mean, you still can do it. Don't get me wrong. But if you say valid login and valid password should let you in, that is a positive test case, and nobody would mind. You might say, OK, if I type password, it should be shown in bullets, not in letters I type in. Yes, it's another positive test case. And then you say, if I type something in the password field and I want to copy that, it will not allow me. The copy menu item will be disabled. And cut menu item will be disabled, should be disabled. Those are everywhere. It doesn't really require to come with requirements. But look at the requirements we have. Login, password, uppercase, acceptance. What do you mean uppercase? Everything uppercase? Password, accepted, special characters, password. I don't know what it means, really. It's not human language stuff. Requirement, not empty. What do you mean not empty? Is it required? Or I mean, what do you mean not empty? Cannot be empty. OK. What's not empty? Only correct combination grants access. That is obvious. Not empty, you might say, but what if... so if it is not empty, the button should be... if it is empty, the button should be disabled unless both have values in there. OK. A field contains no more than 32 characters. Who cares, actually? But OK, you might have that requirement. Same requirements for copy-paste procedure. Test cases. 0, incorrect combination, access denied. It is not what you want. If you say 0 input, so then you want the button disabled. What do you mean access denied? You didn't type anything. So you work against yourself here. You are coming with unreasonable requirement. Then you don't know what to expect. And then you come with something which shows that you really do not understand the basic rules of graphic user interface. If the field is empty, the button should be disabled. It's not like access denied. Guys, we are in QA business. And we did learn it here in the school. It's session number 2 of your class. Positive, correct combination entered. But actually, they asked you about positive test cases. They said, give me 3 positive test cases. And you're talking about access denied. OK, positive. Correct combination entered, access granted. OK, negative. You have to read the question. Then you will not come with that many requirements. And then you will have less chances to fail. The major failure here is you are not answering the question. The question is, give me 3 positive test cases. OK. Let's see who is next. Type. Valid login and password. Login successful. Good. Valid login and valid password. Why do you give me in negative test case? Error message. Type, valid login, leave password field. Requirement, alphabets, numbers, special characters, or any combination accepted. Inputs, valid email address is an acceptable login. Guys, still, when we talk about requirements being a part to your answer, it means you understand what we are talking about. Requirements by itself are not helping much if you do not understand what you are doing. we are doing requirements to cover them with test cases. So it is kind of dangerous, because if you have no idea what's test case, you come with requirement, and your test case is garbage, and that is the whole story. That is done. Okay, number one. So if we talk about login and password, and you are running into that, let's say you didn't notice what that question was about. You are thinking, OK, that was about how we test login and password. At least come with reasonable requirements, and we did that. And it's on the website, and everybody can read it. And instead, you come with God knows what. And then your test cases become God knows what. And then the result you get at the interview or any test we have here is negative. I don't know. I just gave you the answer. I gave you 3 test cases. Valid login, valid password, 1. Password in bullet, 2. And cut and copy menu items, 3 and 4. We can definitely talk about case sensitive, case insensitive, and that's, but we don't have to even. They ask us for 3. Okay. And you can say it is a required field, and then it provides you with error message, which is positive. Okay. Okay, let's move. Okay, we have write functionality, not GUI. Okay, means if you do not write anything about GUI, test cases for find next text box. Okay, let's open the find box for you in Notepad. Find. So here is the dialog box. That is what we're going to test. Okay, let's go to the browser. Maybe I will bring it that way. Okay. Here is what we test. Is it big enough? You want me to make it bigger? Yeah. Huh? Big enough? So requirement. Test case. Expected result. Requirement. Not empty. What do you mean not empty? It's a text field. So text field could be anything. What is not empty? Entered message, input required. No, it's not how it works. When the input is nothing, so the button is disabled. There is no message like input required. No. You've never seen Notepad? You never searched anything in Notepad? I mean, where does it come from? In Notepad. No, it doesn't say Notepad. Let's see. It says Notepad. Yeah, guys. My guess is you never searched anything. If you answer that way, you never searched anything in Notepad in your life. Otherwise, you would say, I've never seen in my life like input required, error. Anybody ever seen that? When you search for something? I don't know. Second, case insensitive. Successful search. What is that? You look at the dialog box. It has match case, match or not match. It has up and down, and it has that field where you can type. Guys, that's it. Do we have it on the forum? Did we do it or not? No. Okay, let's do it together then. Okay, so then we are saying number. We are saying how would you test? Yeah. Or what was the question? Just write functionality. Okay, I will copy paste that. Copy and paste to Notepad. No, another copy. Okay, here. Does it have any enumeration there? No. Okay. Write functionality, not GUI test case. So let's talk about requirements, guys. So what are the requirements? And the requirements are very clear when you look at the dialog box here. So requirements are search up is allowed. Search down is allowed. Match case search allowed is allowed. No match case search is allowed. Any more rules you can say? Empty field, okay. Empty, okay. No search string. No search string. Button disabled. Find next button is disabled. And you've seen that. It's not like I'm just talking about something. Yeah, button is disabled. Then the minimum, what is the minimum search string to be accepted? One character. I just type one character and button becomes enabled. So that is the requirement, guys. It is not happening by accident. It is happening because someone programmed it that way. So then we are saying the minimum string to be searched, the minimum size, okay, of string to be searched, searched is one character. Huh? Okay, character. Then all characters are searchable. All, no limitation. Whatever number of test cases you might come with to test that functionality, but it says no limitation on characters to be searched. Basically, whatever Notepad accepts could be searchable or should be searchable. Then we are saying not found message to be provided. We know what we are talking about. Yeah, to be provided. Then find next functionality to be available. So if I have multiple occurrences of that string, I just do find next, find next, find next. Okay. And then default value. Default value equals